Joel, good afternoon. Kalispera, we say in Greek.
Ah, yes, of course.
And
Good
uh,
evening.
our intention today is to talk about Auroville and how you are there, how you found yourself there, and just find out more about Auroville and the community. So
Yeah,
we talked before. So you told me you are 4 years there already.
yes. Since 2016, end of Jan.
All right. And how has it been for you?
Um, Quite easy because I took everything just as it comes, no? So I don't, well, not everything. The process to become newcomer and then Aurovilian has been quite long and difficult. Lots of details and stuff, but we'll talk about that, I guess. And but for the rest, I'm lucky. I'm a lucky person doing this basically because I had the finances to support myself here. So that takes away a lot of anxiousness
I bet.
that I see in other newcomers. Huh?
Mm.
I was
So,
lucky. I found a house really fast, and uh, so I've been quite lucky.
so for the people that don't know, Auroville is a community in India. Started some time ago, maybe 50 plus years now, isn't it?
Yeah, 52nd year now.
And it was started from two very conscious beings. You could say two spiritual teachers, you would say.
Yes, one more practical and one more philosophical. In my
And
opinion, everyone has their own.
who is the practical? The mother, according to you?
Yeah, the mother is the practical one. So I'm reading the book, The Life of the Mother by, what's his name? It's right there. Well, a Belgian guy. And it's quite interesting because it goes into her life, how it was predestined to become this and so on, and mixing in loads of quotes and details, and it's actually a nice read. So, and she's amazing. Yeah, I mean, this woman, what was amazing, is still amazing. You know, we're here.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Mm.
So, first things first, please introduce yourself to us. What would you like to tell us about yourself? Your name, where you're from, your
Mm.
background, your work?
So my name is Joël de Graaf. I was born in Holland. Then I moved to Belgium when I was 11. I ended up having my own company in IT for 18 years, and that allowed me to stop working and move to Auroville. Although I didn't know about Auroville at all when I made all these plans. So I always was planning to step out from, I don't know, but planning as in I knew I had to work to have enough to do what I want to do when I want to do it. So, and then in 2015, 14, I started rounding up all the details, all the loose ends. Then 15, I did the sale of my company. I sold it to my employees. I ended everything I needed to end there. And then I got on a plane to Chennai, Pondicherry, where I had rented an Airbnb for a week because I had this impression that Pondicherry is on the beach. So you rent something close to the shore and for a week, and then you walk around and you find a nice place to live. No, I wanted to live on the beach, basically. I didn't know about Orville, so, but I knew about the ashram. My yoga teacher, I was doing yoga for more than 10 years with him. Very old, quaint guy. He told me to go to Pondicherry as second choice. First was to go study yoga in Bihar. There's the biggest yoga hatha yoga school in India, basically. And but the courses were the timing was completely wrong. The first course started in October and the second course in August. And so that wasn't possible. So I said, okay, I'm going end of Jan. So where do I go? And then he said, oh, go to Pondicherry. They have a nice ashram. The name Aurobindo never dropped or whatever. And but he was a very spiritual man. So I don't know. Those things I take just as they come. And then so the first day I was in India. So I woke up the morning after I landed. I walked to the ashram, and then well, going there wasn't such a. There was this resistance immediately. I stood on the corner of the street and looking at the entrance, and then I was going like, I don't want to go in there, but I have to. And then I decided I come this way, so I'll go. And then it was the rigidity of the ashram that was. They're very rules and regulations, and this is supposed to go like this and like this and like this. You have to take off your shoes and then your phone off. But I already had my phone off and my shoes off, so stay on the carpet and so on. So I went like, okay, that's it. But then I came to the courtyard, where's the samadhi, where they are buried. Well, buried. And then I felt this vibration, you know, the sensation, strangely, almost like physical, like, okay, so that's what I came for. And then I stayed there for a while.
Let me just confirm that I also visited the ashram 3-4 times, and it's a very, very powerful vibration indeed.
And then I did the exit through the bookstore, the bookshop, and literally as in the movie, no? And then I saw this folder with the golden ball. And I thought, Auroville, I'll go there when I'm done with Puducherry. I'll go and visit there. No, that's the next stop on the exploration of India. And then I came home and I told my host about the experience at the ashram, and he said, "You have to go to Auroville." Okay, yeah, I will go to Auroville, but let me first discover Pondicherry. No, you have to go to Auroville. And so. The next morning, he wakes me up. That was a Saturday, and knock on the door with coffee. Yeah, here's your morning coffee. You go to Auroville today. Now. I went like, 7 o'clock Saturday. I was trying to, acclimatize, and then I thought, I'm up. I might as well go, no? So he helped me get an auto rickshaw, and I went all the way to Auroville. Then I saw the movie, went to the viewpoint. People who've been there will recognize the route now. And then I met some Italian guy in the viewing room. We were the only two watching the video. So we walked to the viewpoint, and we met this other girl from Ukraine. And we spent the day together. We went back, and then we asked in the exhibition center what to do. And it was a Saturday, so they said, there's a farm walk in Solitude Farm, which is the closest farm you can go to from the visitor center. And then, so we went there, and I got into contact with Krishna, and I asked him if I could volunteer. And then next Monday, I was volunteering at Solitude Farm. So... And that's how I landed. Well, that's basically what landed me in Auroville in 3 days, without even knowing that Auroville existed, or Aurobindo, or the mother. But that all came later, and it all felt, when you read Aurobindo, it's really strange, but it's like he writes things down where I thought I invented them. You know what I mean? It's so real, close, and natural that even though he writes in a very high English and complex because he wants to be very detailed in his descriptions and all. But it feels very, yeah, oh, I wish I, written it down, but then he lived in, this was all written down in 1910 and so on. So how it was really strange. So you just go through a book and you go, like I've never found anything I don't agree with, which is really bizarre. I'm a critical person, so.
So the teaching really resonated with you.
Yeah, completely. It was a bit annoying. I mean, if you think that you understand something, and then you pick up a book, you open it, and then somebody wrote this down, then it's a bit yeah. But nice, because then you go like, okay, what else did he write down? So that's what I'm doing.
Okay, great. So being in Auroville, it's also an opportunity for you to study more. The integral yoga is the method that Sri Aurobindo and Mother put together, right?
Yeah, but then it's so confusing, because I thought that I was going to, and okay, laugh, but I thought I was going to the ashram to follow yoga classes. So I go into the ashram, and I ask, where are these classes? Instead of telling somebody, pulling me aside and saying, okay, that's not how it works, read this introduction book and you'll understand that life is yoga. Everything is yoga. No, they kind of laughed at me. Like, okay, but then that's a combination of, all kinds of stuff, but also they're an educational center. So they thought, oh, he wants the classes so they sent me to other places. And so it took me some time to find out what I was looking for, which is basically also the voyage into into Auroville, basically, which was quite, exciting.
So basically, you found there. Would you say that you found there a more holistic, more real, more genuine yoga than what you had practiced before, or how would you describe it?
So my teacher did hatha yoga in a very spiritual way. People were always complaining about his stories, He would do hatha yoga and then tell stories while you were doing it, and so it was he would sit us down for half the class and just tell, and so people were complaining about that. So I was used to this mix of movement and if everything is it, but so it was very strange to me, but it was very natural. Like, yeah, of course. And then you learn about the 3 pillars, and then you're like, okay, so you don't sit still and meditate forever just because that is how you're going to attain enlightenment. I mean, sorry, but I cannot relate to that. I need to be active, and I need to have a mix of meditation and studying and work. And that's basically what people are supposed to do here. And be a better person.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it takes some time, to get to that point, and there's no one really helping you. There's all kind of people trying to help you, trying to do workshops or introductions or all those things, but somehow you have to kind of find it for yourself, what it means, and find out that you were a meditation guy or person, and you need to become more of a knowledge person, or you have to find the balance, like where are you and where are you going.
Good. So you kind of stumbled on Auroville the first time around.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened then? When did you decide, okay, I'm moving here?
Oh, I decided I'm moving there before I even knew it was there. So this is where I was going. I'm like that. So that's how it happened. I knew I was going to India to study Sanskrit, and within the first, I think I can look it up, but I think within a week or two, I had my teacher down, and so within 3 days I had work. Within a month I had my teacher, and from then I was studying, and I knew I needed to read a certain piece of Sanskrit text, and that was what I was supposed to do. I had to read it myself, so I had to learn the language. and I learned languages before, so it's not so. But it's also very interesting for me because I know a lot of languages. Sanskrit is then, like going back to the roots, and that is. And I had a super teacher who we're still doing it since I started. I'm having class tomorrow, so twice a week we study. Most of the weeks, not all the classes happen, obviously, but.
So you never went back to Holland, or?
I went back once a year. In the beginning, I had to go back because I wasn't Aurovilian immediately. So in the beginning, I had to go back every 3 months. I think I did that 2 or 3 times. And then my prof invited me to become a member of his activity here in Auroville, and provided me a volunteer status, which allowed me to get the visa. And so I could get a 1-year visa from then on. So that's been extended 3 times now.
Mm.
So,
and when did you know that you wanted to become an Aurovilian? That's the thing.
I took my time because I didn't know I was also between Sri Aurobindo and the mother is more Auroville and Sri Aurobindo is more the ashram, more, as in, and so I didn't really know. So literally I was living between the two. I was living in a, let's say, halfway between Pondicherry and Auroville for the first month to find out. Then I met some people, then I moved closer. Then I moved to a place by the sea, which was Auroville, but further away, which didn't please me because I didn't want to be so far away. And then I was so lucky to find a house here with help of people I met in Auroville, Aurovilians, which is not easy. And so I transferred the house to me. So then now this is my second, I live here for 1.5 years now in this house. In the middle of Auroville, close to the newcomer facility, the house Maitre. So it's like our neighbors, basically.
And what was it? What was the moment that you said, "Well, I'm going to become permanent resident here"? What happened? What was the event? Do you remember? Did you meet someone? Did you have a discussion? The thought just appeared, or what happened? Do you remember?
No, not really, because it was there from the beginning. The moment I set foot in Auroville, the second day, I went like, yeah, that's it. This is where I want to be. And also when I had to go home, like to Belgium every year, because you have to, like once a year I need to be in Belgium. I had the feeling that I was leaving a place, not going to my home. And then my mother also visited last September. And then she also said like, well, this is your home now. Belgium is no longer your home now. Mm-hmm. So it was automatic. It was just a feeling, and it wasn't really a thing. I met a lot of nice people and that helped, but I don't think that I wouldn't have done it if I didn't meet these people. I would have still done it. And also,
so you knew it pretty straight away. You knew it from the second day. This is it.
Yeah, because I found I had 5 objectives basically coming here, and 4 of the 5 I could do in Auroville. And then there's Pondi University. I wanted to do something with big data because I'm from that space. I thought maybe I want to develop something in that direction. And then there's Pondi University right next to Auroville, very close, driving distance. So everything was so close, and it was just like, okay, everything's good now. This is it.
Okay. So basically, this is what happened. That's what I hear. I hear that you wanted to do 5 things, and you could do all 5 staying in Auroville, and that sort of it ticked all your boxes.
Yeah, but it also
it probably wasn't so mental as I say it. It wasn't as mental. It was more a feeling. I take it.
No, but that's what I told you when we talked before. No, I take an emotional or intuitive decision, and then afterwards you could say, recalculate or justify. I see if my decision agrees with what I need or the facts and so on. So, and then I found out, like, yeah, all these things I can do here.
Good. I understand. Yeah, that the mental aspect came later.
Yeah.
And you told me the other thing was that it's the process of becoming Aurovilian. It was a bit long, you said.
Yeah, also because I didn't do it as they prescribe it, although they don't describe completely and correctly what the process is like. And that I found out is because it's different for everyone. Everybody comes with a different set of luggage, and so that means that you start from a different point, and that means that your procedure will be different. There are steps that are the same for everyone. You can mix up some steps. You can do one before then the other one. So that's what I did, for instance. That what's also made it take longer. And it's kind of, well, you can look at it as a club, and they have to kind of accept you also. Which is not so strange, because suppose they accept you, they also accept everything you come with, all your luggage, and they don't know all your luggage. So they try to, you don't know all your luggage anyway. They try to get to know you, and when that's the optimal procedure. And when they know you, they go like, yeah. Also, they might say, well, Auroville might not be for you. If you're not the type, for instance. There's many types here, don't worry, but or if you're not completely ready, or you're here, you came here for the wrong reasons. That will come out too. Hopefully. Otherwise, we're stuck with you, no? That's why they don't, and they don't want to say no to anyone. Basically, you have to find out by yourself that this is not for me.
Okay. So, could you share with us a couple of the steps for the process?
Yeah. Let me think. First, you need to be accepted as a newcomer. That means that from that moment, when you're accepted, your newcomer period starts, which is supposed to be 1 year from the date you're accepted as a newcomer. But to become accepted as a newcomer, you have to provide some information, fill some forms. Forms will come back a lot of times, and it's a big responsibility also for them. They don't want to refuse people, but sometimes it happens. No? So there's like the entry board that wants to talk to you, find out about your motivations. There's more forms that you have to fill in. You have to have 2 people recommending you. How do you know people to recommend you? You volunteer. So most people start as a volunteer, get to know people, they vouch for them. That's what starts their procedure. They fill in all the forms, do all the stuff that they ask you to do. And then you there's a welcome talk, and there's the meeting with the entry board. And then there's Yuka, which is a tour of Auroville, 3 days of intense information and visits and all kinds of fun stuff that you need to do. And then you're supposed to work in an activity or service or whatever for a year to get to know everyone and how everything works, and is this really for me, and so that's how things go here, and find your way. And then there's more forums in the meantime, and then you have to well, you have to. They want to see you again in another conversation, which is so far into your process that that's not really, well, for me, it wasn't such a big thing. I had more questions than they did, I think. And because it's an interview, which means that um, you ask them questions and they ask you questions. It's not like a selection procedure or something, because if you look at it like that, then I think you need to think about that. Like, why do you see it as such? And then you're announced to the community. When you're announced as a newcomer, then people can write and say that's a feedback procedure. People can write and say, oh, this person, no, he's crazy, or he's convicted of I don't know what there, or I don't want this person in our community. So then if that happens, then you get negative feedback, and then it gets back to you and you talk about it. And then either you go on becoming a newcomer or you don't, and then you stop. And then when you turn from newcomer to Aurovilian, they do the same. They announce you in the local news and notes, the local newspaper, and then everybody has 2 weeks to, or is it a month, to reply. And if nothing comes, then you get more forms, and then you need to sign the B form, which is not immediate, and then you need to see the secretary, which is for the moment, for instance, impossible. And then officially are you an Aurovilian.
So it takes about a year and a half.
Well, I would count on 18 months, yes.
So what is it to live there compared to, for example, living where you were in Belgium? What are the differences? What are the benefits? What you see is works better for you there, or what works not as good, not as well?
For one thing, over here I have more time and motivation also for my self-study, and you get much less distracted than in Belgium. Everything is distraction. Huh? I could be on a terrace of a bar every time of the day. So over here, of course, most of that is gone. And so you have much more focus by the circumstance. You live in a forest. So you live in nature, basically. You step out of your house and you're in the middle of a forest. Depends on where you live, but most of us. So we have a cooperative supermarket where you go and get your organic and all kinds of local produce, and it's very conscious, and everything is well done and organized and so on, because there's enough people here who want to organize stuff well. But at the same time, it's just the same as everywhere else. People struggle for positions. People struggle for making ends meet, getting a job that allows them to work from Auroville itself, not having to go to Europe a couple of months per year to work somewhere to gain money to live the rest of the year in Auroville, because that's what happens a lot. There's an enormous amount of therapists here in Auroville. You cannot imagine what kind and how many of them. So a lot of people don't think about researching where they are going when they come. Well, I didn't for one, but that was my intuition going out. But it's completely different, but very much the same. And but overall, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. And my philosophy is always one of, let's try to change that.
I call Auroville and places like Auroville conscious communities, a gathering of conscious people that that are looking to co-create and bring something, a new model to the world, right?
Mhm.
So, what is your comment on conscious communities in general?
Well, I always wanted to be in one or even start one. I think I would always live in one or start one. And even my house in Belgium was a kind of a conscious community because we selected really strictly on who lives there. And we had lots of fun with the people because if you do a selection on do I like you, as in are you on the same vibration as me, then you get along much easier.
They want their space. Sure, that makes sense. So in the end, you never did farming. You're doing IT still, or what?
Oh no, I did. So I did 3 months with Krishna, and we did some experiments on um, in different beds, the same treatment, the same water and everything. But one was with manure, one was only with mantra, and the one with mantra did better than the one with manure.
Oh,
So
excellent. Well, it was great talking.
mm,
Thank you so much for sharing all your wisdom and your experience.
experience
And
only.
so we will, just to let the audience know that we will take this, we will edit it, we
Mm,
will show it to people, and then we will be open to questions and answers.
cool.
Thanks again.
Yes,
Thank
perfect.
you so
Thank
much.
you.
Many blessings. Cheers.
See you.
See you.